Coming to Sobriety Part 2. This is the transition I wanted to talk about. So, the transition. Going from the streets, living that life entirely, as deep as you can get in it, to going into sobriety. What's it look like? What did it look like for me? Well, for me, I took myself to a detox after getting locked up, having a kid, knowing I didn't want this to be my life forever. I was at the end of my bouts. I didn't give a fuck, to the point I didn't give a fuck to even continue to get high. I was just done with the shit. After doing every drug, after being every person on every side of the whole entire equation that makes up this street world, or whatever you want to call it. I get to a detox. I get on. It wasn't even really a detox. I ended up telling him I drank a shit ton of alcohol when I wasn't drinking at all, and then told him I was doing a lot more. Told him I was doing a lot of heroin when I wasn't even really doing either one. I was doing meth, coke, and Fetty. That's what I was doing. But I told him that because I wanted the withdrawal meds. I wanted the highest dose of Suboxone or Subutex, whatever they gave me, and I wanted the highest dose of Ativan. So benzos and buprenorphine. So those were the two things that I was trying to get out of them, and they gave me such a high dose. If I remember correctly, it was like it was either 16 or 32 milligrams of Subutex a day, and it almost sounds unbelievable, but I'm not shitting you. And then the Ativan, I want to say it was like 8 milligrams of Ativan. So coming straight off the streets, going in there, I think I stayed there for a couple weeks. I was so fucked up. They weaned me down, and whatever else. And then I went to a rehab, and I got to this rehab, and I'm telling you about my second experience. The first one was a little different. Might go into that at a different time. But I get to this place, and it was a rehab, but it was a house. So, they had their office center where you meet up and do your groups and everything for the day. But you go back and you live in a house with other guys, and then, they've got someone that stays there, like, I forget what they called it, like a behavioral whatever tech. It was just one of those people that babysit you, basically. So I remember going in this house, and it was basically like, the way I can describe it to you is, it was like there was already 4 guys living there, and they had been there long enough to where they was already like clicked up. It was like, imagine walking into a new school or something, and you see a little popular table, and you see those guys sitting there. They all know each other, and then you're just this oddball. Well, I was really an oddball. I think all 4 of those guys were all on Fetty, so yeah, we had that in common, but they were already sober. I just came from the street. I had 2 weeks in a detox. I got fucked up in the detox to the point where I'm nodding out on couches, fucking eating ice cream sandwiches and shit, just fucked up. So I'm still in this mindset. You don't get far coming from jail to a rehab to 2 weeks later, or from jail to a detox to a rehab 2 weeks later. Keep in mind, I also did all this to try to keep myself from further getting in trouble. I took myself out of state to find this place with the insurance I had, to prolong possibly going back to jail and whatnot with a future indictment. So I was just trying to be free and still get fucked up, but I wanted to get away from it. I'm going to tell this story pretty quick. I don't have too much time. The first or second night I was there, these guys, I'm still I'm the oddball, you know what I mean? I'm not friends with none of them. I get there that first night, I'm just walking around like the perimeter, like just doing circles, like, twacked out. These guys had cooked a chicken, and I don't know what was going on, man, but I just wasn't thinking. I'm in there watching a bodybuilding video on YouTube. I'm not thinking, they're outside playing spades, and then one of them comes in and takes the chicken out and sets it on the stove, and they left it there long, like for a while. I wasn't thinking at all. I swear, I went over there. They said I deboned their chicken, but they weren't lying. They're right. I went over and I ate all the legs, I ate all the wings off their chicken, and I didn't even think about what I was doing. I didn't think in my head like, oh, this is theirs, or oh, it's for all of us. I didn't even have that thought. I literally just took that shit and didn't even think about it. And then one guy, the guy that took it out of the oven and stuff, man, he threatened to stab me over this chicken, and I fucking lost it. And long story short, I freaked the fuck out. Ended up showing the fuck out. He ended up showing the fuck out. That's the reason why it all basically didn't escalate further and further, even though obviously I made my threats when I was trying to fight him. And the transition, man, as I'll tell you, probably 3 or 4 months down the road, he always thought I had a problem with him, which I did for a long time. I ended up apologizing to him. That's a transition. I ended up apologizing to him and gave him a hug, like a half-ass hug, and he was like, so we're cool? And I was like, yeah, we're cool, man. And that's a transition. Rest in peace to him. He ended up overdosing and dying, but just a quick story, a little glimpse. I didn't go super far in depth like I wanted to. I just don't have a shit ton of time. Unfortunately, these videos are made in the car right now. That's how busy I am. But I'm going to give you guys some more content when it comes to this transition from sobriety or getting fucked up to sobriety. Y'all have a good day, man. Stay strong. Chase them goals. Hustle. Peace.